All right, welcome to the Eric J. the Great podcast show. We got a very special guest on the show today, music artist Tulo. How you doing?
Hey, I'm good, man. Appreciate you having me on, man. Rocking with you, man. It's going down.
Absolutely, man. For anybody that doesn't know who Tulo is, we're gonna play one of his songs, and then we'll get into his whole story. There's gonna be like a real history episode for people that's probably not historians of hip hop. You'll learn a lot of stuff about hip hop from the 80s to the 90s.
All I'm seeing is go to the money, till it's time, let's go, stacking this, rapping this. But I ain't trapping, I'm trafficking. Free time with kill, bullshit with this rapping shit. Street niggas for real. Fuck this rap shit. This game need niggas like me. So it's back to this rap shit. Yeah, it's back to this rap shit. The game need niggas like me. I'm back in this bitch in Toes Planet. 40 on my waistline. I grind like it's no tomorrow. Flooded in nice, like I'm drowning my sorrows. Move weight like cargoes, a scrap in my cargoes. Bitch niggas get exposed, that ain't in my pedigree. Disrespect my gangster, your mental with a little bit. I be where the bread be, getting to the money. Duffel bags of money, trash bag pickups. They praying on my slip ups. Praying that I step up. That's why I keep them things tough. For lawyers, keep my chips up. Snitches, zip your lips up. I'm just trying to pull up and something in the 100 range. Get the same brain by bad things. Yeah, all I'm seeing is them, getting to the money till this time. Let's go, stacking in,
That's the one you feeling?
rapping this, moving that, yeah. If I ain't trapped, then I'm trafficking. Free time to kill bullshit with this rapping shit. Straight nigga for real. Fuck this rap shit. This game need niggas like me. So it's back to the rap shit. Yeah, it's back to this rap shit. This game need niggas like me. I'm back in this bitch. Yeah, it's back to this rap shit. This game need niggas like me. I'm back to this bitch. Back.
Yeah, man. It's hard.
Ooh, that's the one you feeling, man.
Yeah, yeah, I, yeah, man. I just started doing music myself, man, and everybody was surprised, man. I had wrote my first song last week, and
Oh,
I was spitting to people, and everybody was like, "Bro, you didn't write this." I was like, "Yeah, I did, bro." Everybody thought I had a ghostwriter, but nah, man. I'm just doing it as a hobby, though. I'm not trying to be no artist or nothing, but yeah, man. That's
after a while, man, after you listen to a lot of the stuff that's going on and you peep game on what's blowing up, it's like it's easy, man. Like that's one of my things that I be having trouble with. It's like I make rapping hard, man, because it's like with each bar, right? I'm always like, if I was to spit this to Jada or Fab or something, what would he think?
right,
But then when I'm listening to the stuff that's blowing up and the stuff that people are doing, it's like all really people want at the end of the day, when they drunk or partying or in the mix or something, one or two lines that they can repeat with you, a super throw beat and a catchy hook, man, and you win.
right.
Yeah, so I'm trying to learn how to do that, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Because from your era, it was pride in being original. Like
Yeah,
a lot of people got the same type of flows and copying off people from the OGs and stuff. So it ain't too many people that's original these days.
yeah, that's what it's all is. And then what make it even worse is the people that's like the machines that's behind what's being put out, they follow the trends.
Right.
So if mumble rap jumping right now, like the A&Rs and stuff that's, being the people that's getting the artists to these big labels, they go after the mumble raps.
Mm-hmm.
Or if whatever that's hot right now, that's the only thing they be focused on and chasing. And it's like it take away from the craft and the originality and what's really going on. So it's like it'd be crazy, man.
Absolutely. So first off, tell the people where you from.
And I'm at that H, man, Houston, Texas, man, Southwest, Southwest, vest up, put your chest up, man. That's how it is, man.
Absolutely, man. What's the first thing that come to your mind when you think of your hometown?
Balling, having bread, fashion, and just, trend setting and the whole culture.
Absolutely. Yeah, so for anybody that never been to Houston, man, just describe how it was growing up there, African American kid, just certain circumstances and obstacles you got to overcome growing up in Houston.
Well, depending on what part of the H you in, because this is a real diverse city. So it's like everything, every race, everything in one spot. So depending on where you at, that's what you get. But in the H is like, it ain't what people from far out states think. It ain't horses, it ain't country, it ain't cows, it ain't all that old stuff, man. It's real city. It's the city, man.
Absolutely. So did you have a two-parent household growing up? Any siblings?
Nah, just me and my mama. One family home, man.
Okay. So what type of activities you was into when you was younger? Did you play before you got into music? Did you play any sports?
All sports. Football the main thing, but all sports, man. You can't miss me on those sports, man. I didn't even try tennis. I was even swimming, man. Yeah, man.
Well, which one would you say you was the best at?
Football.
Football.
Running back.
Okay. So when you was growing up, did you have anybody around you, family, friends that was involved in the music business, or were you the first one to go down that route?
First one.
Okay. So if you had to pick something, what led you to doing music?
Life. The life that I was living at the time that I was living it, you know, with Rap A Lot being, what Rap A Lot is about, the reality of life. It was like, okay, we got all the kid rappers and that fad going on, what they going on. You had the crisscrosses rapping about what they was rapping about, the ABCs rapping about what they was rapping about. So with Rap A Lot being the company that they are and about what they about, here it is. We have a young kid doing what he doing, and it fits what we're about. So it was like, hey, just do you.
Absolutely. So that leads me to my next question. So you was kind of way before your time when I was reading your story because like they said back in that era, like they had kids that was coming out as young acts, but they wasn't talking about the stuff that you was talking about. Like it was more like of a clean, or they was like using kids as props, or you know what I'm saying? Like it was like you didn't really have like how it is today, where you can have a 16-year-old rapper talking about some street stuff or something like that. Like it's more normalized now in this era, but I feel like you was like a unicorn back then, like you was way ahead of your time. So how how was that, when you started putting that music out 12, 13 years old, and people was not really used to a kid putting out that type of music? Like, how was people embracing you?
Well, I really had no knowledge of how people was embracing it. because I was really living that life. And I was really around the people that was living that life. So to me, it was normal. So as time went on, the first album I had, which was titled Problem Child, which was like an album that was really all about how I really wanted to come out and really was me. When the plug got pulled on it, and Jay Prince had to kind of like dial back a little bit and soften it up a little bit. And then you got the Funky Little Brother album, and which was still a lot of me and a lot of what was going on, but it was like a situation where it was like the mainstream and what they was trying to push it wasn't kind of like, it was kind of like a tug of war. So to make it fit, it was like, we gonna soften it up a little bit, but you're still gonna be you, and it's still what it's about. So at that age and at that time, it was like, I don't know what they accepting that or not. You know what I mean? It was just, I was doing me, I was rapping about. It was my life, it was reality, and so it was like all my shows and stuff that I was doing was 18 and up clubs and things like that. So it was like, the people feeling it. This is what it is, and this is what's happening. And this is me.
Absolutely. Who were some of your inspirations growing up? Who were some of your favorite artists?
It's crazy because as like Scarface, like being looked at as my brother, and all the stuff that all the people that I was around, like my man, I was a Spice One head, man. Like I was a Spice One fanatic, man. It was like that pretty much was like all I was into was like Spice One and definitely Face. But that's not jammed to Tupac. Tupac was coming up, Tupac had what he had going on, but it was just like something about Spice One that I was just like, yeah, he got it, man. That's
Absolutely. So as you a kid, you starting to pick up on music, and you starting to see that, I'm talented, there's something that I can do long term. Where did the rap a lot relationship come? Like, how did they discover you?
the apartments that I was living in at the time, they had like a studio over there. So the store that I was hustling at and doing what I was doing, it'll be interactions coming in and out, in and out. And like I would approach some of the dudes, like when I catch them at the store, like really just on some trying to sell them the things that I had. Like the block that I was on was major, like mainly like a crack block. But at the same time, I would see players and dudes that would pull up, and I also had like weed. So I'd be like, hey man, you want to get some weed? And they'd be like, man, what you're a little young butt, man, what you doing? So, man, they be like, you already who you are doing what you doing. Like, man, would you come to the studio, man, check out what we going, man, and meet, whoever. And, one thing led to another, and it just took off from there.
Absolutely. So as you sign with Rap a Lot, you're going on tour doing these shows and things like that. I know this has to be a lot because you're still young, you're still a kid. So who was basically holding your hand during this process? Because that's a lot for a kid to be doing at that age, to going state to state, doing shows, not you coming into a contact with a lot of people that you don't know personally, you know.
In the beginning, we got, RIP, AWOL. You're the black, I know you're familiar with the Black Monks.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like AWOL from the Black Monks, man, he was like everything, man. He was the person holding my hand, the person teaching me how to write, the whole thing, the music, keeping me focused and keeping me grounded. And that was like the main person in my life during that era.
Okay. So take me back to the time when you went to a recording studio for the first time. Was it easy for you? Or like, was you a natural, or was it like a rough patch?
Man, I almost want to say I was a natural, man, because but it was like you know how like Puff had the making the band?
Right.
It was really like a boot camp for me because it was like constantly in a studio, whatever it is that we wrote, whatever it is song that I was doing, it was practice after practice, getting it and getting it and getting it. And, you know, like if the way that we were structured was we would lay it first in a pre-production studio, and then we'll go to the big studio. And you know, at that time, big studios were so expensive to where once you made it to the big studio, there wasn't no games being played. But you didn't already did so much at the pre-production level to when you made it to the big studios and it was time to really do what you need to do. I mean, it was just like it was nothing. You know, it was so well rehearsed. It was just
Absolutely. So, are you as far as your recording style? I know you write, but do you punch in and freestyle too, or is it just strictly writing, or a mixture of both?
strictly right. Do no freestyling, man.
Okay. So, if you had to pick a moment, what would you say was the moment that you knew you could pursue music seriously?
Mm, I would say when I realized that the platform that I was blessed with was already set for me. So it's like with everything already being put in place, the machine that I had behind me, the people that I had behind me, and realizing that rapping is really just game spitting. It's really just talking to the people, getting people to, you know, feel and understand your life, what you're about, what you're going through, you know, all that. So it's like it's nothing.
Absolutely. So, when you first got with Rap a Lot, you dropped your first album. How was people taking your first project when you first went mainstream?
Pretty much like a kid at that age talking about what he talking about, like how, like, like seriously, like that kid really is that kid. You know what I'm saying? But really, the people that have them kind of questions is the people outside of the bubble. But you know, for the people that's really like project kids, kids that really, you know, was actually in that lane and grew up like that, you know, they had a different outlook because it's really what's going on. You actually have kids who, you know, come from broken homes or really in the streets and doing what they're doing for, you know, with no guidance and stuff. So only people that has been raised or grew up like that was understanding that. So
Absolutely. So, I can only imagine as a kid, you with a label, you know, I know you seeing a lot of things, you're getting spoiled as far as, materialistic things, things like that. So, you on the high, you're doing what you love to do. So, well, when did it start to go left?
it started going left when it was a dude that was hanging around the studios that came to me and was like, you know, hey, I reviewed your contracts. I went over your contracts. Um, I'm a manager of these people and I've helped these people get out of their situations and I put them in better situations. So with your contract and I could take you to another level, just let me get you out of the contract you in and let me work for you and do what I can do for you.
Absolutely. So when you start being given this information that you're in a bad deal, you get screwed over, you're not getting what you're entitled to.
Yeah.
How did you go about the situation of bringing it to their attention, and what was their response?
That never really took place.
Mm.
Um, the dude went on here, went with his move.
Okay.
So at the end of the day, it's like I'm having court appointments. I'm going to court and like there's no more shows being done, there's no more recording being done, and like, I never lost my connection with Face and, Face brother Warren Lee and stuff. And so it's like they're coming to me like, bro, do you know what you're doing? Like, who is this dude? Like, why is like, what are you doing? And I'm like, I don't know. Like the dude that I met at Rap A Lot Studios. Like, how he even getting to Rap A Lot Studios if he ain't the person that he's saying he is? But you gotta think, I'm only 14 years old, so I'm naive to whatever's going on. I just been presented with an opportunity to be in a better position the way that he presented it to me. So it's like, all right. So when I'm talking to Face and them, and they're like, bro, they like, why are you doing this? And I'm like, I don't know. Dude say I'm in a messed up situation and he can help me get out this situation. So I don't really, so as time go on, as I'm putting two and two together, and as I'm dealing with this dude more and more and more, I'm like, man, maybe this dude on some con stuff, man. Maybe this dude trying to, be more beneficial. But at the time, like, he actually had me sitting in front, like he had me flown out to Priority. Priority talking to me, Priority gave me a bunch of money to make sure that I don't talk to nobody else. Priority gave, had $1 million deal on the table that if I sign with them, they gonna give me a meal and they gonna, put my music out and stuff. But what a conflict of interest came in is that at that time, Priority was distributing Rap A Lot's music.
Mm.
Yeah, so it's like, but at that time I don't know none of that. So as time going on and the lawsuit is going on, and I'm starting to become more knowledgeable what's going on, I'm like, at some point, I'm like, wait a minute, man, hey, like Space and Jay Prince, that's my family. Like these are my people. Like this is who took me from the block to this. I don't want to do this no more. So let's go ahead and get rid of this case. And so I settled, and that was that.
So after you settled and just you was like, all right, I don't want to do this no more. So how was the relationship with Rap A Lot after you settled and you didn't want to do the deal with Priority no more?
It was never no bad blood because you they understand that, man. Look, you only 13, 14 years old, you're a kid. You don't know what's going on. So you don't know the decision you made. You don't really know, the inner workings of what happened. So it's like, but by me settling and by me being under like a minor contract, once I turned 18, regardless of what's going on, the contract was over.
Okay.
So it was just, yeah, but as time has been went on and the shows ain't going on, I'm not doing the music stuff. It's back to the streets, it's back to the block. I'm back caught up in that life. And it's like once I settled, and it's like, hey man, that rap stuff was cool, but these streets is where I'm at right now. This is what I'm doing. And so the relationship was never messed up. It just the situation with my contract and my music just faded away and went on with the way it went.
So when you reflect back on that time in your life, what really triggered you to just be like, hey, I don't want to do the music no more. I'm going back to the neighborhood. Like what really sent you down that path?
It was never a situation where I never wanted to do the music no more. It was more about how the music, the way that music, the whole thing fell in my lap, with the platform that I had, the level that I was able to come in it with, the faces and the top of the line producers, top of the line recording and all of those stuff. It's like once that faded away, I felt like by me being who I am, I could continue to rap, continue to do whatever I do. And if the situation jump back off, it'll jump back off again. But my it's like the addiction and the passion for the streets was like, it's at a point I'm eating better in the streets than I was the rap game. So it's like, rap cool, whatever, whatever, whatever. But this right here is what's gonna be what's getting me to the top.
Absolutely. So when you went back to the neighborhood and around this time when you settled with the case, was it a lot of press around this? Like was it a big deal? Like was a lot of people talking about it, like news outlets and things like that about your contract and stuff?
Well, this is still in the era where social media and all that not is not what it is today. So now that social media and everything is what it is now, when I see like when I Google situations or when I still see people with their podcasts on their own, taking it upon themselves to say, this right here is the Tulo and Jay Prince story, or this is the Tulo and Rap A Lot story. It's like, dang, where did they get that from? Like, how did they even know that? Like, so it's like I never know where them stories or where they get it all from. So it's like now that I'm out and now that social media is what it is, and I have people like you with your platforms and your podcasts, it's like you can get the real based on what Google is saying or what people are taking and making it on their own.
Absolutely. So when you went back to the neighborhood, you not dealing with rap a lot as much as you was, and you start going in and out the penitentiary and things like that. Like just describe your life around that time. Was it just like a revolving cycle of just being, I'm just doing what I'm doing and whatever come with it.
Yeah, basically that's what it is because it's still like I never seen it in the eyes that other people were seeing it. It's like you got this rap career, you got Face as your brother, you got Rap A Lot, you got all this. Why are you doing this? So, situations led to, the situations that led to, living the street life and being in the game and stuff. So it's like the way the opportunity came to me, I felt like it'll always be that. But as time has went on and I started trying to like do things independent, like I have an independent project, my Deep Boy Chronicles is under my label, Street Boss Records. And now I'm realizing that without that machine behind you, without people being able to get you on the BETs and the front covers and all of those stuff, it's a total difference. That's why when a lot of people speak on like, man, Jay Prince be doing this to his artists and all that, it's like it ain't Jay Prince and it ain't what he's doing to his artists. You can look at any musician you can think of. They all complain about the situation they was in with their contracts or with their companies or whatever, because people don't know the inner workings of how the rap game or the music game works. So you have to understand that you take a person like Jay Prince. Here it is. I take a person from the streets with nothing, whatever you have, and I invest 100, 200, 300,000, whatever it is I invest into you and your project. I'm gambling on the fact that first and foremost, that I make the money back that I put into you, and then profit. So if I put this money into you and you don't blow up, I lose. But the platform that I'm giving you, you're getting BT. This is not no local situation. This is a nationwide situation. So at the end of the day, regardless if you sell or don't sell, you win because I have made you a person.
Right.
I have put you in a situation where you can't do nothing but win from here if you just stay down. And people don't understand that. All they look at is that, man, Jay Prince be messing over his artists. He be doing this, he be doing that. But this is a person who's taking his actual hard-earned money and invested it into a talent and a situation.
Absolutely. A lot of people have unrealistic expectations. Like I hear like a lot of mainstream artists, and I'm like, yo, in any business, just not in music, if you're not bringing no capital to the table, and I have to use my own money, and when you do blow up and the money start coming in, not saying that you're not supposed to get anything, but I gotta at least get my money back plus a little small percentage off just me taking that chance. And then for people to say, oh, CEO screwing me over, or things like that. In some cases, it are some CEOs that's they be doing some dirty stuff, but when you just talk about just legit business, like, come on, like they got to get their money back. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't not make
Gotta get that.
a person.
And then what's so crazy about that is if you understand business, I'm not just trying to make my money back. I'm trying to, at the minimum, double up.
Right,
What's the purpose of me investing in something if I'm at least doubling up?
right,
So at the end of the day, if I don't double up, if I don't make my money back, and I take a total loss, you still win because you has been afforded a platform to where even at a local level, you might not be able to reach the millions that I'm presenting you, but you will be able to have a career. So when you look at, like, say for instance, when Hotch came into play, or the Southwest Wholesales, I don't know if you're familiar with Southwest Wholesale, but like when they came and played, like people was really able to eat, not having to put out music to the millions and all of those stuff. And then even with that, Rap A Lot wasn't no label where you putting out mainstream music. You're not putting out crossover music. So you're not expected to even, reach them type of levels. You know what I'm saying? But the platform that you had and the way people was accepting and respecting Rap A Lot in that platform, it was like that just came with the territory.
absolutely. So let me get your opinion on this because I watched this interview with Birdman like 2 years ago on this Big Fact podcast, and he was saying that when he first got his record deal with Cash Money, you know he was doing stuff for his artists, buying houses, cars, and stuff, and he said he had to learn the business, but he was like later on down the line he had to right all the wrongs, and he ended up paying everybody that thought that they didn't get what they deserved when they was at their height, and he ended up righting all his wrongs because he said, you know, he got the deal with Universal. They gave him 30 million and he didn't know nothing about the business. He was just like, hey, I thought I was doing what I was supposed to do. I was giving people jewelry, buying them houses, cars, things like that. So in your situation, uh with Rap A Lot and Jay Prince, do you think in that era when he discovered you that he was still learning the business as well? Like he wasn't that diverse. Like he probably knew the basics, but he didn't know like everything to where it came down to like, oh, an artist should get royalties, they should be getting this, they should be getting that. Like you was basically like the guinea pig for him becoming an expert at the music business.
I'm not gonna speak on what I feel like he knew and didn't know because I don't know. But what I do feel like is I was a part of Rap A Lot at a time where everything was first jumping off because it wasn't too long before, like too far after, like the Mind Playing Tricks on Me, I feel like took Rap A Lot, the Ghetto Boys to a whole nother level. After the Mind Playing Tricks on Me came, like, I don't know if you can see this plaque in the background,
Right.
but after that came to Death Do Us Part. So with that, it was like I really feel like things, started jumping in it, just like the Birdman situation. He started off locally, had his artists, they made the noise and did the numbers that they did, and being the businessman that they are, was able to go sit down with them other businessmen and set up what they set up, and put their artists and their business and in the situation that they put it in. So I want to believe that they understood what was going on, but with any business comes the trials and tribulations, the fumbles and the errors. So it's just a lot of all, I ain't gonna say all, but based on what I've been reading up on and studying on, trying to learn the business more, like all contracts are universal. You start off with a certain percentage, you put your record out, and then if you blow, you renegotiate and you get another percentage of what you want and how you want it, and you be able to call shots and do what you do. So I feel like that's the way it works.
Absolutely. Yeah, I feel like, when I read up on this story and was educating myself on this, I feel like, what you said with them popping off shortly after that their dealings with you when you first got discovered. I feel like, the experience that they had with you got them ready for when stuff went to the next level, because you got to start somewhere, and and you gonna make some.
Look. Not just me. The Three Tools, the Too Much Troubles, the Gangsta Nips, the whole catalog. Everybody that came before me, with me, after me, whatever. It's all, it's all a cycle. I felt like, the situation was, I have my artists, the Ghetto Boys, I have Scarface. So it's like, okay, I can piggyback, I can afford to invest and do what I do with everything else. If that lose, I know that Ghetto Boys and Scarface is gonna be, what may help me get all this back.
Right.
So, like, if you look at any situation, and if you look at any company, whatever, like, I think I was reading Pimp C book, and being a label that Jive is and the artists that they have, it's like, okay, everybody that signs, it's a gamble. So, Pimp felt how he felt. He took the situation the way he took it. But at the end of the day, it's like, hey, here's a platform. This is what we can do for you as an artist. If you accept it and able to appeal to the masses the way that we feel like you are, then you win. If for whatever reason they sleep on you and it don't, hey man, it's like stock and bonds, man. It's a gamble, man. It's an investment, man. Hey, but at the end of the day, you was blessed with an opportunity that a lot of people would kill for.
Absolutely. So as you going through the revolving cycle, man, you start having some adversity, going in and out the system. What really motivated you to get back into the music, start back putting out music again?
The fact that I realized that I had never dreamed of being a rapper. Like that's never been my goal, my inspiration, or nothing. So for a person like me to be out of home clock, never cared to rap, never even like spit a verse, to get chosen by the high power to be in the position that I was in, I just felt at the end of the day that that has to be my calling. That has to be something that the man has blessed me with and is my way out.
Absolutely. So what do you think is the current state of the music scene in Houston right now?
The current state in the music scene right now, I really feel like the H has lost his, we had for a moment, we had our own imprint, like with the at one during my era, the Ghetto Boys rap a lot era, which I feel like it still will forever be the main era. It was I don't like to pigeonhole the music and say like gangster music and nothing. I like to say just reality, you know, reality of life music. And then as times involved, you know, we had the big era where the screwed up click movement really carried the H to a whole nother level because the artists and the people that was involved in it really was a big part of shaping the culture of the H. But then I feel like at a point in a time, the Atlanta scene became so big that you know people started following trends. So I feel like, you know, the music that's coming from the H is still what it is. It ain't as mainstream as it was at a time. But I mean, as long as people doing their music and it's being accepted and they doing what they do, who am I to ever say what is what? You know, if whatever the situation is, as long as people being able to eat and be accepted and put on, hey man, I'm down with it, man. You know.
Absolutely. So I've been asking a lot of artists this question because I feel like it's relevant in today's time. Do you believe artists are targeted? If so, why? And I mean by targeted, I mean by, you know, people trying to use their art against them.
I feel like because you put so much of your personal into music. So here it is, even if it ain't rap, even if it's just a situation where you're living life at a higher level, it's gonna come with the haters. So here it is a situation where if you in the game and you ain't as flamboyant and you ain't out there like, you know, flashy and all of those stuff, people don't really know what you got going on. But as an artist, you know, people see you in your videos with this jewelry and you know the stuff that you rapping about. If you telling people you got millions, you got bricks, you got all these traps and all this stuff, you also have you know, people who their hustle is jacking. So here it is, somebody that is telling me that they have millions and they have this and that and this and that. Hey man, you know if I catch you slipping, that's my come up.
Mhm.
So it makes you a target. If you a D-boy and you flashy and I'm steady seeing you in the club and I'm steady seeing you on Instagram putting on, flashing your bread and doing you how you do you a target. Because if I'm a jacker and my come up is being able to rob the people that's up, hey man, I gotta have you. You let me know that if I get you, hey man, I'm gonna be up. I'm gonna be good. So, you know,
Absolutely. So I seen all the artists that you work with in the past. Do you have any artists that you want to work with now?
man, definitely, man. I have people like Killer Corleone, who I feel like is should be way more mainstream and bigger than what he is. I don't feel like there's no artist that can go bar for bar with him. Um, you know, the Jadas, the Fabs, the you know, just real people, man. Just it's you know, it's a lot, man. You know,
Absolutely. So for all your followers out there, man, what do you like doing in your spare time when you're not doing music?
man, this might sound crazy, but man, I just like being at peace, man. I like to, you know, um, I'm a, you know, I'm a habitual gambler. You know, I like to gamble on sports and stuff. You know, I like to, you know, I'm in a situation where, like, you know, you touched on, but you ain't really just went into debt. But you know, I just spent a lot of time incarcerated. So, you know, to my spare time, you know, I would like to, you know, spend a lot of time with my little girl. You know what I'm saying, and just, I'm always the little time that I am free and the little time that I am out, I like to try to get a hold of transitioning back to just living, man, and getting my life back under control and stuff, man. A lot of my time is spent doing that.
Yeah, absolutely. As far as when you look back at the times that you've been incarcerated, uh, when you reflect back on those times, uh, what effect did it have on you?
Mainly just realizing how, at a certain time, when I realizing the importance of longevity, not taking myself out of position. You know what I'm saying? Like I have a lot of situations where I'll be speaking to people and I'll be meeting people and they like to give me the legend title. And it'd be like I can't really accept it because I don't feel like I lived up to it. But I'm understanding that I came up during an era and a time where the impact that I had at that time was meaningful. And when people look at it at the end of the day, it's like, man, you was in a real great position. And what you was doing at that time in that era was like, man, a lot of kids was really like looking up to you and feeling what you were saying. But then it's like not even the kids, the type of music and the stuff that I was on, even the older dudes was like, hey man, like that's that dude. So
Absolutely. So when you think about all the adversity, because being incarcerated is adverse situations, because your life is changing and people around you are affected by it. So when you think about all the times that you was in and out, besides your immediate family, who was really supporting you during that time?
I ain't gonna lie, man. It's like I pride myself on being a good dude, man. Like, I've never burnt no bridges, my name has stayed clean in these streets, man. I done helped a lot of people, I done fed a lot of people, but it's like out of sight, out of mind. So it's like when I go down there, I was going down there at such a young age to where I wasn't hearing from people. I wasn't having the support that I felt like I supposed to have had. But at the end of the day, I also understand that, nobody owes me nothing. So it is what it is. So it's
Absolutely.
just like, I put myself in a situation. I did whatever it is that I did. And hey, man, I got to do what I got to do.
Absolutely. So fast forward to now, man, describe your relationship with Scarface and Jay Prince. And do you talk to him on a regular basis, or how does that go?
My relationship with them is great, man, because it's never been a bridge burnt. I was a kid, situation happened, things took place the way it took place, and life goes on. Jay Prince got his boxing stuff, and he got his own sons, that's doing what they doing and everything that they doing. And it ain't been too long ago where, Face reached out to me and was like, the posters that I'm posting on Instagram, hey man, you don't need to be doing it. Like, don't do that. You know what I mean? So it's like the relationships is there, it's just that we're at a time in our lives where we're at an age where, you know, everybody's is just different, man. Things are transitioned and it's like a whole lot more going on than just concentrating on what a person feel or what a person think. It's love, is real. I'm here for you if you reach out to me, but it is what it is.
Absolutely. So when you look back on everything you've been through with the music and things like that, do you have any regrets?
Mm, I wish I'd have probably been more knowledgeable of the situation that I was in at the time that I was in it, and probably could have prospered more from it. But the things that I've been through and the things that I've learned and the person that I've become, I think I think the value of that would outweigh me having any regrets of anything that happened, because at the end of the day, I'm still here. And at the end of the day, I still have people like yourself that is willing to take the time to say, hey man, Tulo is still a person that, out of the million of artists and the million of people that's rapping, this is somebody that I want to have on my show and interview. And I feel like having him on my show will do whatever it does to my platform and what I'm trying to do to, get to the next level. So for me to still be relevant enough for you to have me on your show, and I can't have regrets, man, because it's like at the end of the day, I'm still here. I can still make the moves and do the things that whatever I wasn't able to do in the past due to my slip ups, I'm still able to accomplish now.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Uh, I I was in the military for 8 years. I got medically retired almost 4 years ago because my body kind of wore down. I was special forces in the military. I've been to Afghanistan a couple times and did a couple special missions. So like when I was getting out, I started the podcast because I'm real big on mental health because I lost my best friend in Afghanistan. I wrote a book last year called From Stuck to Limitless and became a best-selling author off the book. And I wrote about
Congratulations, bro.
Oh, thank you. And I put 8 women in the book too, and we all wrote about the lowest points in our life and how we overcame it, and the importance of if you wanted to pursue mental health and get a therapist, that there's nothing wrong with it. And that was the main reason I started a podcast. Eventually I got into interviewing uh, famous people and things like that, but the origin of it was like I think that especially amongst minorities, we're trained to go through bad stuff, get treated bad, and just take it on the chin and just keep moving. And we like the only ethnic background that never addresses mental health. If you look at white people, Mexicans, any other country, like mental health is a big thing. And I feel like we don't have enough conversations amongst each other to be like, hey, I might have $50 million. You might have 10,000, whatever case might be, but we go through same things. Don't think because I might be more successful than you that we don't go through similar things, and I think that's has to be normalized amongst our people, that be comfortable to have conversations amongst people, because I talk about real topics too, besides interviews, so that I know people are going to encounter at some point in their life. And I just think, we have to normalize just, men getting together or women getting together or even mixing it up co-ed, just having real conversations and saying that, hey, I went through this, and another person probably is going through the same thing, but they were scared to speak up about it. But seeing someone that's a normal, everyday person like them saying that, hey, I went through the same thing you went through, you can get through it, and this how I got through it. I just think that that message need to be pushed a little bit more.
You know what? Everything you saying, man, is as I've been hearing about mental health and everything, it's like I embrace it because the strength behind it is like, you know, everybody's trying to, say, okay, you doing this, you doing that, okay, this is your diagnosis. You're struggling with this, you're struggling with that. But it's like the things that people are being diagnosed with is nowhere around it. Like life on life terms, you always gonna have stress, it's gonna have depression. When I look at mental illness, because I've actually been, you know, kid you not, man, I'm on parole and I'm on a mental caseload, depression, PTSD, you know what I mean? But it's impossible to get around PTSD, depression, stress. That just comes with life. So how you deal with it, your support system, the people that's in your corner, that's one thing. But, as far as just the way people view celebrities and look at celebrities, I really feel like it's important to them to let people know that it is important, because it be times where I sit back and I look at like Jay-Z's and the people of the world that goes to sleep and wake up with the billions and the Beyonce's and stuff, and wonder like what prayers are they saying, like why they not having, why they not being unhappy, but they had these situations, and so it's important though for people to speak up on that, man, because being stressed, being depressed, suffering from PTSD, man, there's nothing wrong with that, man. That's life on life terms, man. It's like it's no way around it, man. It's just the way you handle it, man. You just gotta understand that, things gonna happen in life, and whatever it is that you're going through, you just gotta put yourself in a situation to figure out how to make it the best for you and what works for you and your surroundings and the people that you have. You got to make it the best for you. If you have people in your life that's creating a whole bunch of chaos and the things that's keeping you out focused and causing you stress and depression, remove them if you can. You know what I mean? But it's normal, man. If anybody out there, man, that's feeling like you unnormal because you're suffering from stress or depression, man, you're normal, man. Nothing wrong with that. We all go through it, bro. It's impossible not to.
Absolutely. So, what are your short and long term goals now? What do you want to accomplish?
My short, man, with me going through everything that I've been through, man, like the main thing with me is what I've been battling with, and I feel like my shortcomings and has been, and my downfalls has been, is going to the penitentiary, man. So I feel like the main thing with me is if I can just keep myself, my decision making, and keep myself out that place, everything else will be a cakewalk, man. Because at the end of the day, I feel like the main thing is longevity, man. If you can keep yourself in position and keep the right people in your corner, it's like you can't lose, man. It's like you just gotta just stay focused, man, and stay on your grind and stay about what makes you happy, and help you able to sleep better at night, man. Whatever that is, man, can't nobody tell you different, man. Just go with it.
Absolutely. And ask you this question. So, with your experiences of being in and out the system, um, and you having, people that respect you, and people knowing, who you were as an artist and things like that. Have you ever thought about going to like juveniles or prisons and just speaking to people?
Most definitely, man, because I feel like when I look at life back when I was young, you had the people who used to try to reach out and speak to the young people. And it's like the young people, it's only certain people that they respect. And I feel like they'd accept what's being told to them from certain people. So it's like when you bring like regular people that just speaking and stuff. I know when I was young, man, the people that had good advice for me and was trying to tell me stuff, I shut it down because it's like, you're corny, man. You don't know nothing, man. Like what I'm about and what I'm doing, this is it. But to hear it from people that you look up to and you feel like what they have to say is valid, you accept it more and you run with it. So if I am a person and I'm in position that the people that looking at me like, hey man, I know Tulo and been through this and then been through that, and I know his story. So if he telling me this is the way to go, I'm gonna accept it. yeah, I want to talk to them people, and I want to let them know, like, hey, man, you can live life this way, or you can live life this way, but just know this all that comes with it.
Absolutely, man. I think that should be a goal for you, man, in 2024, man. Try to reach out to some people that run some juvenile detention centers and things. I think you'll have a great impact in that lane. You know, you speaking to some people for 30 minutes to an hour and just let them know or try to persuade them. Because I mean, yeah, people gonna do what they want to do at the end of the way. But if you speak to 100 people and 3 people chose to take your advice, then that's worth it. That's 3 people that's not gonna be in the system. You know what I'm saying? So
That's the way you gotta look at it, man. And I'm with it, you know.
absolutely. So as far as 2024, what you got coming as far as music or anything else that you got going on?
Yeah, right now, I'm focusing, I got the Tulo, the main plug album that I'm working on, and outside of that, far as transitioning back into, trying to get my life back in order, being a great father in my daughter's life and catching up on my daughter's time and, all of the things when it comes to, transitioning back from coming from that system. Those are, that's like my main focus, man.
Absolutely. So as far as the album, do you have an estimate time frame or when you want to drop it, and do you got any features on there?
Um, there's no estimate time frame. I'm gonna work it by the singles, and as time goes along, as I'm embraced and as I work myself back in, I'm gonna reach out to people. A lot of people have been reaching out to me, like yourself and others. So, I'm just gonna let life take its course, let the game take its course, and what's meant for me, it's gonna be for me, and that's the way I'm gonna play the game.
Yeah, absolutely. So when people look up T-Lo, listen to music or just come across your story and reading it on the internet and things like that, how do you want people to perceive you?
I want people to perceive me as I want people to understand that I'm human. I'm not perfect, and anything that you hear me rapping about, anything that you hear me saying in an interview, it's just my own personal perspective, my own opinion. It ain't law. It ain't nothing that you gotta follow and live your life by. It's just, doing the experience and the way that I view things. It's just the way that I'm speaking on them. So you can take that, and if it applies to you, run with it. If it don't, hey man, whatever works for you, that's what it is.
Absolutely, man. So give me your hip hop Mount Rushmore.
My hip hop Mount Rushmore, man, not in no order, not in no Scarface, um, Jay-Z, uh, Jada, uh, Killer Carleone, man, I hate these kind of questions, man. Pusha T.
Man,
And
that's a lyrical five right there, boy.
but I came up in a lyrical era though.
Yeah.
In my era, it wasn't no playing, man. Like if you ain't had it, man, with nobody respecting you, man, you couldn't get on. Like right now, with all the internet and just anybody just doing, man, you know what's so crazy? My mama is trying to find a way, like, to like have a good vibe with me, and and just to be able to, interact with me and stuff. So last night we was watching like hip hop videos, and as the new artists that's playing and doing what they doing, my mama was like, "Is this some type of new rap?" I'm like, "Hey, mom, this is what it is, man. Things change, man. But you can't knock it because I remember being young and listening to the music that my mom and them was playing. It was like, Man, turn that off, man. Like if you gonna finna play that, I'm finna go outside, man. That ain't what it is, man. So yeah. So I still respect the lyric, the people with the real lyrics and the real reality, and but I don't discredit the new wave. It's as long as the people keeping the hip hop going, as long as we continue to have a lane to be able to jump in and eat, man. I'm all with it, man. I respect the craft, I respect the art, man, and I love it, man. I'm not knocking nothing.
Absolutely. So, who do you want to see next as a guest on the Eric J. the Great show? Only kicker, you got to help me get him on the show.
Yeah, probably Young Star, man. I think Young Star, man, he'll be a cool person to just, he's somebody that had a real big impact for the H and the music industry. And, if situations would have happened better for him, I feel like he would have been like the next little flip or whatever, but he's somebody who has been able to be on stuff that's so classic to where even to this day he can still live off of it, man. And it's like, you know,
Absolutely. So for anybody out there, man, any advice that you want to give to anybody?
the advice that I have, man, is like understand and respect the people that is in your corner, man. The people that you have in your lives that support you and that's for you, keep them, man. Like because it's so hard to find loyalty and people that's down with you genuinely. So if you have people that's loyal to you and down with you, man, respect it, be grateful for them, man. Take it as a blessing, man, and just keep them in your life, man.
Absolutely. So, closing remarks, anything else that you want to touch on and let people know how they can keep up with you on social media and things like that?
Um, my Instagram, OG Tulo. Just stay in tune with it, man. And as time goes on, man, just understand that I'm gonna be dropping music here and there, and if you sleep on me, man, I got projects that if you need to catch up, I got the Too Low D Boy Chronicles. You can go look that up, man. If you need to go all the way back to see how long I've been in this game and how long I've been doing this, you can go Google the Too Low Funky Little Brother album, man, and catch up on your history, man. And as time goes on, man, I'm gonna wake you up because I'm finna put my foot on your neck, man. It's finna go down, man.
Absolutely, man. Well, I think it was a powerful story, man. I was reading a couple articles, and I looked at a couple YouTube videos about what was going on in that era, and I think it's very powerful and should resonate with a lot of people, especially young artists that was in a position that you are, and they're probably in a position where record labels are coming at them, while they're teenagers and things like that. And just to see, what people went through in the era before them, you know what I'm saying, and just had that in the back of their mind, just be like, hey, it's a business. Some people, come out on the good side, and some people had to take a different path. But
Yeah, understand the business, man. Anything in life that you getting involved in, invest in it mentally. Understand what you're doing, what you're getting into, learn the ins and outs because, you know, just speaking on my experience and stuff, man, it's like a lot of people, majority of the people you run for, the things that they're going to do is for their best interest. So it may seem like the opportunity and what they're presenting to you is for your best interest, but people don't really do things for you for your best interest. it's always a give and a take. So you got to understand what you're giving and what the next person is taking. So just understand what you're getting involved in, man, and understand that people not doing things for free. People not doing things just because who you are or what you got to offer, man. People want things in return. So just always understand what the people want in return, and that'll save you a lot of trouble, man, because it's a business. Everything is a business, man, at the end of the day. So just understand that, man. Just make sure that you got all your ducks lined up, and the situations that you're getting in is the best for you, not the next person.
Absolutely. Would you ever sign to a major again?
Yes.
Okay.
Based on the fact that I feel like coming from a major label, all the benefits of, like a lot of artists that already been on major labels, it's easy for them to say, hey, I love the independent lane because they're even more independently than they was with a major. But without that major, you wouldn't be nobody independently.
Right.
Not all people, but a good portion, you wouldn't be nobody independently. So that machine behind you, man, just to be able to, like, all you have to do with a major label is concentrate on your music, man. They got the rest. You're gonna be played on the radio 400 million times, man, no matter if you jamming or not. You're gonna be on covers, like you're gonna be on a top podcast, you're gonna do the top tours, all that old stuff. So with me being an independent artist now with my own independent label, trying to do these things independent, is like, damn, man, when I listen to my music, it's like these mainstream artists and stuff, I don't feel like it's jamming harder than me. I just don't have the platform that they have. It's like I can't get to the masses. And with that being said, it's like a lot of artists that are eating independent, they're not being heard the same way or being seen the same way that they was when they was with the majors. And a lot of people look at it like, man, they fell off. Like take my bro Lil Flip. He's still touring and doing shows and everything like he would be if he was with a major, but you're not hearing him on major radios and stations and stuff like you was when he was with a major label. So people might think he just fell off or he's not as relevant as he was at that time. But hey man, the man's still eating off of what the major label was able to provide him. So yeah, I run with that opportunity any day.
Absolutely, man. But well, I appreciate you coming on the show, man. And anytime you want to come on the show, just have to be an interview. If you got a topic that you feel strongly about, real life topic, because I don't did topics on police brutality, fake friends, followers.
We can go all day with fake friends, man. You don't have enough time. You don't have enough shows, man, for me to come on. So you talking about fake friends, man. But at the end of the day, man, I really appreciate you having me on, man. The me that you get now, if tomorrow I sell 100 million albums, man, this is the thing me you don't get right now, man. Like, appreciate you having me, man. I'm a humble person, man. I appreciate the love, man. And at any time, without me reaching out to you, if you need me or you want to discuss, man, hey, let's get it, man.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I've been knowing AJ for a while, man. I know AJ. He
That's my bro, man. AJ, what's up, Brody?
yeah, man. AJ, he's a good dude, man. He got me with Princess, Lil Flip's goddaughter. I interviewed her a couple years ago, and then I did an interview with Lil Flip in December of 2022. So yeah, AJ is a good dude, man. He had hit me up
Very good.
on Instagram yesterday, talking about you, and then we talking on the phone earlier. So, there was a historian lesson for me too, because I didn't know what was going on, so I had to do my research. So, I like doing episodes like this.
And like I say, man, I appreciate you having me on, man. To the people that you're able to reach, it's good, man. Like AJ, like you speaking on, man, very, very, very good dude, man. The flip, very, very good dude, man. Always gonna be the same dude, stay humbled, and that's the reason why I feel like he is who he is today, man. Because the stardom and all of those stuff, it just don't have no effect, man. It's just real people, genuine people, man, and those type of people that I like to keep myself associated with.
Absolutely, man. And you had to come back on, man, when you get closer, when you thinking you about to drop the album, when you get closer to the time when you got a date in mind.
Most definitely, man.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I need everybody to go tap in with Tulo, man. Go listen to his past albums, listen to his current stuff, subscribe to his YouTube channel, go tap in with his Instagram, and go read his story on the internet. It's very uh interesting story, a history lesson, just like any other artist that we heard about that been in unfortunate situations with the business and things like that. So everybody go tap in with Tulo and run up all his stuff and be on the lookout for all future projects that he has to come in the future.
Already, man. Number two, LOW, man. OG Too Low, Instagram, man. All social media sites, man. Just plug in, tap in, man. And at the end of the day, man, I'm always gonna be thankful for people like yourself, man, for having me on your show and being interested in my life and what I got going on, present and future, man. And like I say, at the end of the day, regardless, 100 million albums later or the situation now, be the same person, man. And you can reach out to me for whatever, man. I'm gonna be here, man. And it's gonna be the same love, man.
Absolutely, man. I appreciate it.
Already, brother.